I don't want to compromise the insulative properties of my sleeping bag. I love the feeling in the audience after that joke. There's a real feeling of, we thought we were getting a nice joke about camping. Instead, we got a horrible joke about wanking. Which is a weird attitude to have, considering more people in this room wank than camp. When you think about it, we want to joke about the thing we don't do and can't relate to, but aren't ashamed of, please. Thank you. So, Friday night's always a good night for entertaining an audience. I don't want to make you sound like sluts, but you're easy. Fridays and Saturdays, piece of piss, because it's the weekend. The weekend is here, he said, like a man with a job where the weekend means anything. But the weekend, people enjoy the weekend, whereas Tuesdays can be an absolute pig for getting an audience going. I remember I was doing a gig a while back in New Zealand, in Auckland, Tuesday night, trying to get the audience warmed up, coming on, going, come on, Tuesday, yay, we got work in the morning, we don't give a shit. Come on, Tuesday, people, make some Tuesday noise. They were not getting on board the Hey, It's Tuesday bus. They sat there quite pissed off about the fact that it was Tuesday. It took ages to get them going. It was like 15 minutes in before I got my first decent laugh. And then I only discovered after I left the stage, only after the show was over, did I find out it was Wednesday. And what's funny is no one said a word. No one said a word. If that happened here, if it happened somewhere like Newcastle, if I'd done that here, if I go, come on, Saturday, make some noise. But in a second, it's Friday, you fucking prick. But no. Kiwis are quite happy to sit there and let you labour under a misapprehension for the entire length of your show. Nobody said a word. It was hilarious. And I realise now, the reason it took so long to get them going, the reason it took so long before I got my first decent laugh is not that everyone was pissed off that it was Tuesday, because it wasn't. Because they're all probably just sitting there thinking to themselves, just how good is this observational comedian going to be? Who doesn't know what day of the week it is? That seems like a very basic thing to observe, really, doesn't it? We paid for babysitters and everything. We've been done. You expect your comedian to know things like the day of the week or the name of the town he's in, basic stuff like that. It's very annoying when you pay somebody money and then they don't know the basics. You know, I've had this problem with plumbers. Newcastle, I have to say, there's a particular brand of central heating boiler, a particular make of boiler that plumbers find particularly difficult to get parts for and particularly difficult to fix. And it's fucking all of them, right? Every flat, every house I've ever lived in, whether I've rented it, owned it, from shithole to nice place, there's been a boiler, and at some point it's gone wrong, and I've had to call somebody who purports to be some sort of boiler man, and then it would turn out that I had the very boiler that he finds particularly difficult to get parts for. Now, am I just unlucky, or are plumbers evil lying bags of shit? What do you think? Do we have any plumbers in? Any plumbers in tonight? Yeah. Yes? You're a plumber, sir? How long have you been a plumber?
20 years.
20 years. Is that an estimate? Come on! It's that look you give a boiler. You know that look, though? Is that the first thing you learn at plumbing school, is how to look at a boiler like, oh, you got one of them. And then they look at you like, what were you thinking, buying a house with this boiler in it, honestly? It's like, it's a boiler, you're the boiler man, this should work out just dandy. No, but you got one of them. Stop looking at it like that. Stop looking at it like I just strapped a baboon to the wall and hoped for the best. What you got there is a baboon. Get on that wall and eat my water. Your boiler just threw shit at me. It's annoying when people are, don't know the basics. I got very annoyed last year at the entire British news media, pretty much, because we had that election. I say we. I live here. I pay my taxes here. There was an election with a hung parliament followed by a coalition government. Right now, coalition governments happen all the time, all over the world, particularly all over Europe. We've had coalition governments in Ireland for years. Never did us any harm. I'm not saying they're a good thing or a bad thing, I'm just saying they're not a weird thing. Now, I know they don't happen very often in Britain, but don't you think, if you're the average man in the street in Britain, you might be a bit thrown by the notion of a coalition government. But don't you think, if you're a newsreader, or a political journalist, a reporter, you should be kind of across this shit? But you turned on the news after the election, and it was like, they were completely bamboozled by it. They're like, oh, look at this, there's two of them. It's like, is it your first day on the job, is it? This is all very odd, isn't it? What is this, a coalition? What is this? Because it's just a coalition government, it's not that odd, it's not that weird. Oh no, it's very odd, it's very strange, this is very weird and strange and scary. No, do you know what's odd and weird and strange? A democracy...